Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 83, and I am so happy that you are listening today because I want to talk to you about how your business, your whole business, is a journey. It's one long journey. It's not pass, fail. So many of you get discouraged or down, or something happens along the way where you kind of stumble and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. This is really hard. I'm failing. I can't do this. And I'm like, stop. No, you are not failing. This is a journey. This is not pass fail. I'm going to dig deeper into this topic today. If you feel discouraged at all, even in the slightest, or you know what, if you're a business owner and you've never been discouraged, I would be shocked. But let me tell you this, there will be a time that you will be. So make sure you listen today. If you are new, I am so glad that you found this podcast because I have no doubt it can help you as you start and build a business doing what you love. If you haven't subscribe to this podcast, which you probably haven't because you just found me, then make sure you hit subscribe or follow, whatever your app says if you're an Apple Podcast or Spotify, because you don't want to miss out on any future episodes with all kinds of tips and strategies that are going to help you as you build your awesome business. Okay. So make sure you do that. And if you haven't gotten my free downloads, there is a 16-step checklist that you can go through to make sure that you are covering your bases for the things that you need to be doing while you're starting your business, whether it's a product-based business or a service-based business or a combination of both, doesn't matter. This applies to everyone. So get that 16-step checklist. And if you're stuck in the idea stage, did you know I have a guide that can help you kind of work through your idea and match up your passions and your skills with a viable business option? Well, I've got that guide for you. So click below too. So 2 free downloads for you if you're new. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. If you've been listening a while, I want to thank you so much. I have the best listeners ever. I have the best clients ever too. I'm telling you, everyone I meet is so amazing. It's so rewarding and just the most wonderful part of my life. I just love it. And I wanted to read a review really, really quick. This one says, I know I can be successful. And this is by Kai K0000. Okay, hopefully I said that right. It's KYKAY. So I'm going to say Kai K0000. I am so glad that you left this review. It is so kind. Thank you so much. It says, Kimberly's podcast was the one that not only caught my eye, but has just the right episode notes to get me hooked. I listened to one podcast and then another, and now I'm binge listening starting from episode 1. I can't describe how satisfying it is that all my questions seem to get answered with Kimberly's podcast. Her content is realistic and feels as if I'm taking a business course. Your hard work, Kimberly, doesn't go unnoticed, and this information will help my small business grow to be an amazing business my children will be able to run one day.
Thank you, Kimberly. This information is life-changing. Okay, this is wonderful. Thank you so much, Kai K, for this. Makes me feel so good. And to say that it's life-changing is so humbling for me. So thank you all so much. And if you've been listening a while and you find value in this podcast, would you please leave a review? This is literally the highlight of my week when I read these. I can't tell you how much it means to me. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, everyone. How are you today? How is everything going with your business? I'm so excited to hear on Wednesdays when you post the wins on Wednesdays in our Facebook group. I love it so much because I get updates on how everything is going and all the good things that are happening in your life and business. It's so much fun. And then on Mondays, when we do the imperfect action, I get to see what you're doing in your business and all the steps you're taking and how you're imperfectly moving forward. And I always post too, because I'm like you. I'm imperfectly moving forward with my business every day. I'm so happy you're here. If you're not in my Facebook group, make sure you get in there because there are so many supportive people who are all just taking courageous steps too to get their businesses going. So I hope your business is going well. I hope you're getting the courage and you're knocking away the fear and you're moving forward with this because I know that you have something special to offer the world. Today, I'm talking about how many of you view your business experience or your business journey as pass-fail. Right now, while you're starting, everything you're doing is a journey. It's a step. It's an experiment. Did you hear me? It's an experiment. You're constantly learning and tweaking. So let's back up for a minute and talk about pass fails. You all know or have experienced in your life something that is pass fail. And I want to give you some examples. I asked my son today, I said, what are some examples to you of pass fail? And he said, getting into a college. You either get in or you don't. He's right. He was taking AP tests. He's a senior in high school. He's like, either I pass my AP test or I don't. True. And then I asked my husband, and I said, what are some examples of pass fail? And he was like, well, people that, take the bar exam, pass fail. That's right. He said pregnancy tests. I was like, that's a good one. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. Am I right, ladies? Am I right? Okay. My point is, those are pass fail. Like either you get this or you don't. Okay. Your business is different. Your business is a journey. It is a constant learning process. It is a constant evolution. It's a constant adaptation. It's a constant learning experience. Okay? And I want to share with you real quick this quote, which you probably heard. This one is by Thomas Edison. And quote, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. End of quote. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So we all know that Thomas Edison had many inventions, right? Notably the light bulb, but there was other ones as well. He didn't look at it as I've failed all these times and I'm terrible and I can't invent and I can't do things. He looked at it as, okay, now I know what doesn't work. Okay? I want you to think about this. And I've got another quote for you. I've kind of bombarded you here. 2 quotes. Okay, the first was Thomas Edison. Here's another quote. And I've been hearing this one kind of floating around lately. Nelson Mandela has a quote here. It says, quote, I never lose. I either win or learn. End of quotes. So that's what he said. He's either winning or he's learning. What are you doing as you're starting a business? You are learning. You're learning every day what's working and not working. Thomas Edison said that. Sometimes things don't work. I know now what doesn't work, right? That's what you're doing. Because here's what's happening, and it's literally breaking my heart.
those of you that I coach or in small groups, some of you get really down at that moment when you put yourself out there in the world. And maybe it's when you get your product for sale or you start trying to make connections with people and it's just not happening. You're just not getting the sales or the traction that you thought you would. And I don't want you to get discouraged. This is not pass fail. This is not pass fail. This is a journey. You have to evaluate what you're currently doing to know your next best steps. Think about that right now. Whatever's going on in your business that you may feel like, from your perspective, that you're failing at, I bet if I was talking to you right now in a room and we started talking about your business and everything that you're doing, we would realize that something that you're doing is not working. And why isn't it working? Okay, I would talk you through all the steps that you took to get this business going so that we could get to the root of the problem as to why what you're doing now isn't working. The first thing I would ask you is, tell me about your audience. Tell me about the people that are following you, right? Not just on social, but are on your email list or listening to your podcast or watching your YouTube channel, or that you've done business with before who are now following you in one way or another. Tell me about those people. And if you were unable to tell me about those people in general, what they all sort of have in common, then we would start there with starting to learn more about your audience. Because once you know your audience, then you can create products that they want to buy, that they need. So again, that's the first thing I would walk you through if things aren't working. The second thing I would walk you through is, let's look at your product. Do you know that this is what they want, your product or your service? Do you know that that audience that you have now is the right people who want what you offer? And if it's not the right people who want what you offer, you either need to change your offer or you need to go back to the drawing board and build a different audience. Now, I know this may seem kind of heavy because this is a lot to take in, but this is the idea of how you build a business. You help people with a problem you know you can solve, and you start gathering those people together some way or another. Then you create products or services that those people need to solve their problem. That's what you do as a business owner. It's really that simple. This is not a pass-fail. This is a constant evolution and building process. So let's go back even to when you were just barely starting your business. Like, I'm thinking back to when I was just starting this one, right? And I want you to think about, how did you start? Did you start with a product or service offering right out of the gate and then try to sell that and then try to build your audience? Or did you build your audience first and try to sell that? Now, everyone kind of has their own combination of how they begin. Some people have this great idea that they work on for years and years, and then they try to get it going and they're like, how do I sell this? I have it all ready. I've developed this product. How do I get this out into the world? Then their job is then to build their audience, right? Some of you start where you want to build this community around a cause or around some problem. And then you're like, I'm going to come up with a product or a service offering to help them. So let me give you two examples here. So let's say that you had developed a food product that was healthy. It was a nutritional product that can help people. And you spent years building it up ahead of time. Then you would go and develop a YouTube channel or a blog, or really go full force with social media. And you would try to start gathering people around who suffer the problem that your product can solve, right? Or you may even have a Facebook group, right? Or those of you may start kind of like I did, where I rallied people around who wanted to start a business doing what they love, and they had a passion for something or a skill. They didn't know how to start a business, or they wanted to do something different. I was just kind of rallying them together through my podcast and through my Facebook group. And then I started developing products, which are my services, right? I always had one-on-one coaching, but now I've got my course and I've got my small group session. And then I hope to have a group, like a membership group that helps people along as they implement all these strategies, right? So I developed them as they went along. So that's what you have to kind of think about is how did you start? And which one did you put your most focus on? That's probably the one that's really strong. Either you've got a really strong audience or you've got a really strong product, but you may be feeling like I failed if I'm not getting sales. What is it? Is it an audience problem? Do you not know them? Do you not have enough of them? Or is it a product offering problem? Do you not have it packaged in the way they want? Do you not have it priced for those people? Right? You have to think about this. It's not pass fail. It's just that something isn't quite working. And maybe you've already started to learn what isn't working. And you start pivoting and you adjust and you adapt and you move forward so that you can learn what is working. Am I making sense? So think about it for your business right now. If you feel like you're a failure, or you feel like something has failed, or you don't have the sales, or you just don't even know how to begin to build this audience, that's where you are. It's not that you've failed. It's that you haven't taken all the steps yet. You haven't done everything that you need to be doing. If I told you today that you had to pass, a Spanish 4 test and you're not a Spanish speaker and you've just learned the beginning stages and you're crying because you've only taken Spanish 1 and you've failed the Spanish 4 test, I'd say you haven't gone through Spanish 2 and 3 yet. You haven't taken Spanish 4. How are you supposed to pass it? But this isn't even a test. So that's the good news. Don't put the cart before the horse. Don't feel like you need to be this overnight success when you haven't done all the foundational steps that are going to want to set you up for success, that are going to set you up for success, right? You have to establish your foundational pillars. Have you thought about that? You have to establish all of them. That's why I put together the program that I offer. We go through 7 foundational pillars. They're to support you from here on out. If you don't establish all of them, you're going to feel like a failure at some point because something's not going to work. And then you're going to have to go back. You're going to have to do these again. You're going to have to go through them because you never went through them the first time. That's why it's important when you start. You don't just all of a sudden start selling a product and then sit there and go, where is everybody? Why aren't they buying it? There's a lot that goes into this, right? You can, if you already have an audience and you already have people that want to buy it and already know you've already built an audience ahead of time, that's one thing. But if you haven't built an audience ahead of time and you're making a product or service offering right now, you cannot cry and be upset that no one is buying when no one knows about what you offer. It's only because no one knows. Most likely, it's not because your product or service offering is wrong or bad or dumb or stupid. It's not any of those things. It's probably fantastic. It's probably absolutely fantastic. But not enough people know about it, or the right people don't know about it. I'm thinking about, too, a client that I work with who was building her jewelry business. And when she started with low-end jewelry. And she was trying to get like really nice metals and silvers and gold and everything, but trying to price it low, and then was trying to offer it to people who really wanted low-price jewelry. And it just wasn't working. She just wasn't hardly making any money, and she didn't feel fulfilled by it. If I can speak today, she didn't feel fulfilled because it wasn't the type of jewelry that she necessarily wanted to wear. She loved wearing personalized pieces that were really nice quality that she could wear for years and years and years, and that meant something special. That's the kind of jewelry that she loved to wear. She wasn't as much like buying all the fun jewelry that a lot of us buy at Target and everywhere else, right? She wasn't doing that. She was wearing really nice jewelry. And then we said, why don't you switch this up and make this high-end jewelry? And use all these metals and materials that you want to, and stones, and make it very special, meaningful pieces, and price it to appeal to people like you who appreciate these kinds of pieces. And when she changed the whole way that she packaged what she offered, everything changed. And her business did so much better. She made so much more money. She had to make less jewelry because they were higher end custom pieces, right? There are kind of more work for each piece, but there wasn't as many pieces, and she made more money. So think about that. It wasn't because her product was bad. It was because she wasn't even selling it to the right people, and she wasn't fulfilled in what she was doing, in the way that, she was making it. So you have to think about that for your product. Are you in front of the right people? Meaning, and when I say right people, it's the people that you are best suited to serve, right? And are you offering your product or service in a way that they want to receive it? And are you feeling good and fulfilled and aligned with how you're offering it? Because when all those line up, things start happening. Momentum starts occurring. But the first thing you have to do is build an audience. You have to have people to offer this to. You cannot build it and think they will come. You cannot be upset if you come up with the world's greatest product and no one buys it if no one knows that it's available. And it breaks my heart when I see some of you feel so deflated and feel like a failure, like, I just don't know what to do. I'm not gaining traction. We go back to the drawing board. Tell me about your audience. And if you don't have one, that's the problem. You have to have people. I have learned this. I have learned this from this business. It's a slow build. I'm not an overnight bazillionaire. I'm building this up. I'm bringing the right people around. I feel very confident that the people that I have around are the right people. I've just been tweaking my offerings to help you all so that I can find that sweet spot of where I feel aligned with what I want to offer and you feel excited to buy what I want to offer. It's all working, but it takes a while. When you're a service provider, when you offer products, if you have a store or if you have an online store, you got to figure out what kind of products do your people really want. Do they want the higher end version of what you're selling? Do they want the lower end? Do they want the middle? And are you in front of the right people? It's kind of like having a really nice, I talk about the store Tiffany just because you can understand it, that it's this high end plush store, right? It's a luxury item to get Tiffany jewelry. They do not sell at flea markets. They are not in your local just cruddy strip center that's down the road. They are strategically placed in high-end shopping centers. They are reaching the audience they feel confident in serving, and their products are priced to match it. It all matches, right? It all matches. The dollar store is catering to a certain crowd who love to buy really good priced items in their neighborhood area. And they've hit the nail on the head. It's $1, $2, whatever it is, right? That's a certain people. If we put Tiffany jewelry in there, their people are going to be like, what is this? I'm not paying $3,000 for that ring. It doesn't work. And what if Tiffany sat there and cried because Tiffany, the whole store cried because they're like, no one's buying our stuff. It's at the wrong place. That is not the audience. Okay? Now, it's not to say that we can all cross over and we can be a Tiffany customer and a dollar store customer, because we can. I'm a perfect example. But I'm just saying, in general, it's not going to work. They have to be where the right people are. You have to decide who are the people that you are best suited to serve, that you would love to serve, that your product should serve, and create a version of what you're selling that appeals to those people. Is that making sense? This is not pass fail. You are not failing. Something is not working. Take fail out of your vocabulary and think, what I just did isn't working. How can I adjust? Because I know my product or service is good. I either don't have enough eyeballs in my business, or I'm not in front of the right people, or for whatever reason, I'm not feeling good about what I'm offering. Fix it.
tweak it, adapt, pivot, learn. This is a learning process. It's a journey. I'm so honored to be a part of your business journey. You have no idea. This makes me so happy to help you all. I'm so proud of you all. Again, if you're not in the private Facebook group, please get in there. Please come join us. It's so much fun. You can ask questions. You can get support and help. And I love to keep you accountable on Mondays and find out your imperfect action on Wednesdays and hear about your wins. I'm so, so excited for you. So make sure you get in there and check out my new course. I think it should be live below, so you'll have to check it out so you can get started and then decide if you want to join a small group later to get your business foundation firm. So you can build this audience, so you can create a product or service that they want to buy. I'm so excited for you. Okay, that's it. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.